We will now look at the growth of Mahayana Buddhism. There was a split in the Buddhist Sangha into two schools of Theravadas after the Second Council of Vaishali, around 110 years after the death of the Buddha. The council was called to call into question the practices of some of the monks that were contrary to the code of practice or vinaya of the monks. These monks were excommunicated, but the remaining monks went on to dispute some rules and aspects of the Dharma. The group that argued to maintain the status quo became known as the Theravadans, or sect of the elders. They continued to follow what they believed were the original teachings of the Buddha. They taught that it was necessary for all humans to strive for arhatship, or the path of enlightenment, but not full Buddhahood, to be released from samsara. The Buddha was considered human, and they rejected any idea of transcendence. The other group, which was in the majority, was called the Mahasamgikas, or of the Great Sangha. Both groups accepted the fundamental doctrines such as the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path, the doctrine of Anatman, the law of karma, Pratisamutpada, and the stages of spiritual advancement. They differed with the Mahasamgika belief that the Buddha was supramundane and transcendental, with no defining elements and unlimited powers. Also, they believed that the original nature of the mind was pure and becomes contaminated when stained by passions and defilements. It was from the Mahasamgikas that the Mahayana evolved. The ideas of the Mahayana, as we understand it today, came from Nāgārjuna, thought to have lived in the 1st or 2nd century AD, who founded the Madhyamaka school, or the philosophy of the middle way. The other Mahayana school came from Maitreya Natha, who lived in the 3rd century AD. His philosophy was developed in the 4th century by the two brothers Asanga and Vasubandhu. This school was called the Yogacara, or the Vijnavada school. Yoga referring to meditation, and Vijna meaning consciousness or mind. This is referred to as the mind-only school, as it believes that consciousness is the ultimate reality. Nāgārjuna taught that there is neither reality nor non-reality, but only relativity. It introduced the concept of sunyata, or emptiness, that all dharmas or phenomena are impermanent and have no independent existence themselves. Thus all dharma have a relative, non-absolute existence. He negated all pairs of opposites. He believed that sunyata is the absolute reality, and there is no difference between sunyata, the indescribable absolute, and samsara, the phenomenal world. The Yogacara school taught not just the non-existence of the self, but also of the things in the world. All elements are derived from the mind. There is an alaya vijnana, or store consciousness. This is neither matter nor mind, but a basic energy at the root of both. It is a kind of collective unconscious in which seeds of all potential phenomena are stored. From this store they can manifest themselves. The Yogacara emphasize meditation, as this is the way to ultimate truth. Studying the Dharma can only give us the relative truth, and are subject to change and improvement. The scriptures are like a finger pointing to the moon. We can find the moon. When we find the moon, we no longer need the finger. Whilst Madhyamaka teaches about the two truths, absolute and relative, Yogacara teaches the three truths: illusory truth, which is a false attribution to an object due to causes and conditions; empirical truth, which is observable knowledge received from the sense organs, which is relative and practical; absolute truth, which is the highest truth.